Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I'm Zach, not Kyle, or Zach for short, and today I'm going to be attempting to explain the entirety of the project lore in the time it takes me to casually finish my iced latte. The insanity that is the neon-filtered gang war of Project deserves a graphic novel, physical novel, show on Netflix, solo game, and merch line. So let's just jump on into it because it is easily one of my favorite timelines to ever come out of League. So let's start off with a lovely little summary of what Project is. Project is the perfect fusion of one supernatural essence with advanced weaponry and body augmentation. This linking of technology and energy allows extraordinary hosts to channel their essence into physical manifestations, and in rare cases, transcend the corporeal plane. Time to hope I said that word right. Only subjects possessing extremely focused inner essence and exceptional physical attributes can unlock the true power of Project. Sure, Jan. Among the megastructures and packed streets of a future controlled by global corporations, a shadow war rages between rebellious augmented humans and newly empowered artificial beings. Wait a second, aren't those like basically the same thing? The winners will shape the course of history, and the losers will be forced to evolve. Now let's go ahead and explode some brains from confusion. I will forewarn you that this timeline gets really messy and really confusing, but like, it's Project, it's League, you expected anything different? I really hope not, Veronica. Part 1, of cats and rats and neon shit. So let's go to the very beginning of the lore. The Project Corporation got announced, and they were going to be attempting to upgrade humans. With this came the first of our lovely Project skins, these being Pike and Master Yi. So Pike was given untested upgrades, which you know is a fun thing to do on literal test subjects, and was very unstable. I could not imagine why. Pike, as we know now, was scrapped and left in the wasteland to rot, however he did survive. Kind of? His brains did, and he rebuilt himself, but his brain and memories are scrambled as fuck now. Yi, on the other hand, was not scrapped. He was, however, kept for future experimentation. After this, more and more humans were upgraded by Project, like Fiora, Leona, Lucian, Yasuo, Zed, and more. With this came the Project command line, including Katarina, Zed, Lucian, and Yasuo, originally. Don't worry, we'll get to that convoluted mess. However, Project was not the only augmentation group. Black markets with augmentations for humans started to arise, so people were able to now augment themselves for funsies with no interference from Project. You know, just cute couple things to do on a Friday night. After this, Irelia and Silas joined Project and got some upgrades. However, both of them were scrapped. Silas then went on to lead the outcasts, with Irelia being in the group as well, building a revolution against the corporate on the outside. But we're not there yet, Barbara. So this is also when the programs come in, which are kind of the big bad of the big bads of this big bad world. So the programs never actually had any self-awareness, thus not being very threatening. At least they weren't, because Miss Lysandra over here thought it'd be cute to go ahead and be self-aware or whatever and start corrupting bots on a random Tuesday on a whim, so that's cute. These corruptions included Mordekaiser, who would then go on to infect Project's codes and upgrades, but we're also not there yet, Barbara. So that's your lovely little introduction to like not even half of the group. Part 2, Genetic makes me want to jump off a microwave. So now we need to shift gears over to Genetic for a second. So Ash is the leader of Genetic, and she worked for a corporation in the city. When she found out about the human cost of Project's operation, she ended up forming Genetic to fight for humanity, which, side note, is mostly built off of people who were betrayed by Project in some way, unless you're like 9 of the other sides in this story. With the revolution's existence and the number of augmented humans rising, hackers began to emerge. Echo and Jin are notable ones in the universe, and Pike also learned some hacking in the Wasteland as well, in between the time it took for him to be scrapped and the time for him to re-emerge. So just before the events of the Overdrive cinematic, Sejuani also joined Genetic, and alongside this, Senna attempted to be transformed, but ended up casually dying in the process. Whoops. Her mind lives on in the cyberspace though, which eventually reformed himself, because yeah, death doesn't mean anything in this, cause your, I guess, mental mind can still live on. Yasuo was also accused of a crime he didn't commit, which is implied to be the physical death of his brother Yone. Yes, I say physical body, because death means do diddly squat in this Project universe. So then Yasuo leaves with Lucian to go join Genetic, and the Project command line got really small. So then, after Lucian joins, Fiora and himself are sent to go save Yi in the events of Overdrive. If you watch the video, you know Yi had a memory error and was broken out of the facility he was being held in. Zed attempted to stop the mission, but was unsuccessful, and Yi joins Genetic. Shortly after, Katarina joins the Genetic Rebellion as well. She'll switch up on Hose again, don't worry besties. With the growth of Genetic infecting Project's frontline, Program Camille was built to chase down Genetic, but remember how Lysandra was self-aware? Yeah, so Camille ended up getting taken over by her, so that's inconvenient. And then a whole bunch of espionage was happening inside of Project, and a counter-espionage was set up with Vayne in it. But wait, isn't Vayne by herself? Not yet, we'll get there, Deborah. If your brain isn't scrambled yet, I applaud you. Katarina then decided to yeet herself back over to Project again just for funsies. Jesus, that was quick. While that's a big loss for Genetic already, it got worse. Sejuani ended up leaving with some of the other members of Genetic because Ash wouldn't let the rebellion turn violent. Side note, Ash does get overthrown later, but we are not there yet, Barbara. Then Vi came into the fray. So she was in the Justice Department, and she earned her transformation, so yeah, she's here now. Lovely. So while Vi was getting an upgrade, Jinx sought to do the same and volunteered. She was receiving her upgrades, but a critical power failure ended up scrambling her up all well and good. So now she's a complete psycho. How do we make this worse? Well, then Program got a hold of Jinx's memory. Okay, Wig. So that was a bit of an oopsie that ended up sending Jinx to the Wasteland, where she would eventually become part of the outcasts without Program's control. Still following? Great. Part 3, the vigilantes hurt my smooth brain. So basically, y'all remember Echo? Yeah, me neither. So he's been a hacker man for a little while in this universe at this point, and Ash took note of this and ended up asking him to join Genetic. Echo works in the backline for the Rebellion by hacking into the necessary code to help them take down the corporation. So he's kinda just there. So then Jin went into Project to be upgraded, however it went horribly wrong by accident. So what was the tea? Well, the surgery went wrong and he became a murderous hitman for hire, you know, just fun couple things to do on a Friday night. His brain, similar to Pike's, was horrendously scrambled and he ended up walking away not being the same person. So Vayne and Jin gain a rivalry, and Vayne actually leaves Project because of them betraying her and leaving her for dead. Oops. So now they hate each other. Double oops. And Vi fully comes into the Project shenanigans in the events of Rats and Cats and Neon Mice. Now, this story is one of the best written pieces of League lore ever, written by one of the best writers at Riot Games, Ariel Lawrence. It's phenomenal, but I'm not going to read it in my video because Necrit already did a fantastic video that's 38 minutes long, retelling the story, and it's fucking art. Just know that Vi and Vayne are kind of allies now who both hate Jin for the sake of timeline purposes. So that part was kinda short, now let's move on to the last part. Part 4, the outcasts makes things worse. So more and more robots get broken due to Project's experiments, big shock, and now a Kali comes in. So she joins the Project command line, which right now only has Katarina and Zed to our knowledge, but around this time the program bots were being sentient or something and causing chaos. However, they're not gonna come in for a minute. Project began making super weapons to deal with this, and the first was supposed to be Project Warwick. Renekton also volunteered to join this new program on behalf of Nasus, but don't worry, he'll be back later. So Akali was sent to the Wasteland to help with the whole outsider situation with Silas, Pike, Irelia, and Jinx. You know that little inconvenience. So Akali lets the outsiders know of the dangerous Project Warwick, and they all band together for the events of outsiders, and they try to break into the city. They succeed, and Project wasn't able to stop them. So the city was finally able to see what Project's true colors were, aka whatever Akali's horrendous color palette is. So Warwick ended up escaping from Project completely unhinged, and now he ravages the city. So that's fun. So Program is getting worse and worse, so Ash reaches out to Silas like, hey sis, you want to maybe try and stop these sentient code hoes? And he's like, yas. So Renekton was then finished and then released to raid the city, which only made things worse because Project does not know when to stop, and at the same time, Senna finally re-inhabited a physical body, which took her ass long enough, and now she's vibing, and by the way, she is not allied with anyone because we need to make the neon-filtered gang war more complicated, guys. Also, Program Camille is here. Whoops, she fucking died. Thanks, Lysandra. So Mordekaiser is out here being fucked up, and Lysandra is still being self-aware or something over in the corner, corner. So these three organizations, thus being Genetic, the Outcasts, and Project, decided to ally together temporarily in order to stop Mordekaiser because, you know, he's a virus or something that maybe wants to enslave humanity. Don't know how valid that plan is, but go off, Wig. So how did they do this? Well, Varus ended up being the compromise, working with the Resistance on behalf of Project to stop the virus, which, small design tidbit, so you know how Varus is supposed to be a combination of two gay men? So apparently Varus is a combination in this timeline of one person from each of the three different factions. So are they all gay for each other? Like, Riot, you need to clear these things up. So then Sejuani also came back into the Resistance to help out with the virus, and at this point, I am just tired of everyone switching sides. We already have Katarina. So now in the present, they all hate each other, but they're trying their best to get the virus and get rid of it, despite the differences they have, except the problem with this is that they've all turned to extremely dangerous experiments to find ways to get rid of the virus, but they'll do what they can to stop Program, specifically Lysandra, from enslaving all of humanity. The end. Don't forget to kiss the homies goodnight. Alright, so with all that shit done, I'm going to now show you the alignment chart, which basically changes every time somebody is added into this story. So as you can see, we have a lovely little overboard membership for Genetic and its branches. In my opinion, the Outcast project itself and Central need more members, which Central only has Vi, but allegedly has a lot more people. League, make it make sense. We don't need more vigilantes, but I guess Riot thought we did. Senna could have been fine in the Outcast, to be honest, but hey, we can only wait for more. I've heard rumors that there's more to come in the project event. I'm not sure, but regardless, I'm very excited to see what happens with this universe, because it's really fun. So in conclusion, Project, for as confusing as it is a fun universe. I really enjoy a lot of the characters, and next week I'll be ranking up the Project skins based on their designs exclusively. And with that said, that's gonna be it for this video, so go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to become not Kyle. If your name is Kyle, that is illegal here, as you can tell from the name of my channel. You do have to get a new birth certificate. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. And with that, that's gonna be it for today. I will see you in the next one. Bye, sis.
I'm the exception. Back to back shoots for the magazines coming to me on. I'm a searched up beating machine. Pose like Naomi, you know me. Let me turn around. Did you get that? Did you? Hey. Still can't see 'cause camera's so flashing. I formulate a new kind of fashion. Birdie doesn't